related, and so I'll try to not delve too deep into the logic and math, the boring parts. Anyways, I'll try not to go too deep into that. But, I hope you enjoy anyways. I think some of them have some very interesting scenarios, and I think you guys will enjoy the video. So without further ado, thank you for watching, by the way. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the paradoxes. Okay, the first paradox is the crocodile dilemma. The crocodile paradox is a paradox in logic in the same family of paradoxes as the liar paradox. The paradox states that a crocodile who has stolen a child promises the parents that their child will be returned if and only if they correctly predict what the crocodile will do next. The transaction is logically smooth but unpredictable if the parent guesses that the child will be returned. So basically it's like the crocodile will give the child back only if they can correctly predict what the crocodile will do in the future. But what if the parent says that the child will be returned? Wait, what? Wait, okay. If the parent guesses that the child will be returned, but a dilemma arises for the crocodile if the parent guesses that the child will not be returned. Okay, so if the parent says that the child will not be returned, in the case that the crocodile decides to keep the child, he violates his terms. The parent's predictions has been validated, and the child should be returned. However, in the case that the crocodile decides to give back the child, he still violates his terms, even if this decision is based on the previous result. The parent's prediction has been falsified, and the child should not be returned. So the question of what the crocodile should do is therefore paradoxical, and there is no justifiable solution. Crocodile, crocodile, crocodile. Sorry, I just noticed that the word crocodile is like super nice for ASMR. Crocodile, crocodile, crocodile. The crocodile dilemma serves to expose some of the logical problems presented by meta-knowledge. In this regard, it is similar in construction to the unexpected hanging paradox. Okay, and the rest is just like math, so that's probably not super exciting for most of you guys. But yeah, that's a weird one. It's like a language paradox, kind of. I don't know. I'm not super good with this stuff. I'm not like a math person. Okay, next we have the raven paradox. The raven paradox, also known as Hempel's paradox, is a paradox arising from the question of what constitutes evidence for the truth of a statement. Observing objects that are neither black nor ravens may formally increase the likelihood that all ravens are black, even though these observations are unrelated. This problem was proposed by Carl Gustav Hempel in the 1940s to illustrate let's just not think about that for now, I guess. In all circumstances where the second statement is true, the first statement is also true. Okay? So, given a general statement such as all ravens are black, a form of the same statement that refers to a specific observable instance. Oh my gosh. So, for example, the statement, my pet raven is black, is evidence supporting the hypothesis that all ravens are black. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. So, the paradox arises when the same process is applied to statement 2. So, on citing a green apple, one can observe this green apple is not black and it is not a raven. So, by the same reasoning, this statement is evidence that if something is not black, then it is not a raven. But since this statement is logically equivalent to all ravens are black, it follows that the sight of a green apple is evidence supporting the notion that all ravens are black, even though they are not really related. It implies that information has been gained about ravens by looking at an apple. Okay. That's a weird, convoluted one, in my opinion. Well, I'm not like a logic person, so I don't know for sure. But in my stupid opinion, in my amateur opinion, I mean, technically, if I see an apple that is green and it's not a raven, then I guess it does support that ravens are black, because the object that I saw that was not black was not a raven. So, I mean, technically, in some weird way, it does support it. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, next is the unexpected hanging paradox. The unexpected hanging paradox, or the surprise paradox, is about a person's expectations about the timing of a future event, which they are told will occur at an unexpected time. The paradox is variously applied to a prisoner's hanging or a surprise school test. Okay, there's no consensus on its precise nature, and consequently, a canonical resolution has not been agreed upon. Okay. Some people regard it as a significant problem for philosophy. Okay, so, description. The paradox is as follows. A judge tells a condemned prisoner that he will be hanged at noon on one weekday in the following week, but that the execution will be a surprise to the prisoner. He will not know the day of the hanging until the executioner knocks on his door. So, having reflected on his sentence, the prisoner draws the conclusion that he will escape from the hanging. His reasoning is in several parts. He begins by concluding that the surprise hanging cannot be on Friday, as if he hasn't been hanged by Thursday, there is only one day left, and so it won't be a surprise if he's hanged on Friday. Sorry, a little bone crack there. Okay, since the judge's sentence stipulated that the hanging would be a surprise to him, he concludes it cannot occur on Friday. Okay, that makes sense. So, the last day has to be Thursday. Okay, he then reasons that the surprise hanging cannot be on Thursday either, because Friday has already been eliminated. And if he hasn't been hanged by Wednesday noon, the hanging must occur on which, despite all the above, was an utter surprise to him. Everything the judge said came true. Okay, I see. Other versions of the paradox replaced the death sentence with a surprise fire drill, a pop quiz, a lion behind a door, or a marriage proposal. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a weird one. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know. Because, like, it should still be a surprise, but, like, his logic kind of makes sense, but maybe not. I don't know. If someone knows more about paradoxes, I'd love to hear more about them. There's just, like, really weird, like, situations. What are they called? Thought experiments. Yeah. They're like weird thought experiments. Okay, the next one, everyone's probably heard of it. A catch-22. Okay, so a catch-22 is a paradoxical situation from which an individual cannot escape because of contradictory rules. Okay, the term was coined by Joseph Heller, who used it in his 1961 novel, Catch-22. I actually did not know that's where the word came from. I didn't know there was a novel. Oh my god. Okay. Catch-22s often result from rules, regulation, or procedures that an individual is subject to but has no control over because to fight the rule is to accept it. Another example is a situation in which someone is in need of something that can only be had by being not in need of it. For example, the only way to qualify for a loan is to prove to the bank that you do not need a loan. Yeah, okay, I get that. I remember there was a British Catch-22 a couple years ago, I think, that went around the internet. It was like, in order to buy a house, you have to have a bank account. But in order to have a bank account, you must have a valid, I don't know, I forgot. Like, you have to have a valid, social security number or something. But in order to have a valid social security number, you have to have a house. So it goes something like that, and it's like a triangle where it's impossible to do anything. Anyway, there's a little tangent there. Okay, so Joseph Heller coined the term in his 1961 novel Catch-22, which describes absurd bureaucratic constraints on soldiers in World War II. The term is introduced by the character Doc Danica, an army psychiatrist, who invokes Catch-22 to explain why any pilot requesting mental evaluation for insanity, hoping to be found not sane enough to fly and thereby escape dangerous missions, demonstrates his own sanity in creating the request and thus cannot be declared insane. Oh, okay. This phrase also means a dilemma or difficult circumstance from which there is no escape because of conflicting conditions. Okay. Wow, they use the word catch-22 a lot in the book. Okay, anyways. Yeah, you guys know that one. Catch-22, sad situation for everybody. Okay, next we have the lottery paradox. However, accepting that ticket 1 will not win, accepting that ticket 2 will not win, and so on, means that it is rational to accept that no ticket will win. Which is contradictory to the fact that one ticket will win. Okay, this probably has some application within math and logic, but for me, I don't really get it. Like, yes, an event is considered very likely if the, sorry, I got a little close there, if the probability is greater than 0.99, but like, that doesn't mean it's not gonna happen if it's less than that. I don't know, I kinda get it, but not, I don't know, whatever. Okay, next is the Barber paradox. Okay, the Barber paradox is a puzzle derived from Russell's paradox. It was used by Bertrand Russell as an illustration of the paradox, though he attributes it to an unnamed person who suggested it to him. Okay, so the paradox. The barber is the one who shaves all those and those only who do not shave themselves. Okay, the question is, does the barber shave himself? Because he only shaves those who don't shave themselves. Oh my god, this is so weird. This is so dumb. Okay, any answer to this question results in a contradiction. It's like the crocodile one. The barber cannot shave himself as he only shaves those who do not shave themselves. So, if he shaves himself, he ceases to be the barber specified. Conversely, if the barber does not shave himself, then he fits into the group of people who would be shaved by the barber. And thus, as that barber, he must shave himself. Okay, in its original form, this paradox has no solution, as no such barber can exist. The question is a loaded question in that it assumes the existence of a barber who could not exist, which is a vacuous proposition and hence false. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so apparently, a loaded question assumes something that is false. Anyways, that's the Barber paradox. On to the next one. Oh my gosh, the cars. No. I'll protect you from the car noises. Okay, there we go, we're good. Next is the paradox of the court. The paradox of the court is a paradox originating in ancient Greece. The story is related to the Latin author Alice Gellius in Attic Nights, who says the famous sophist Protagoras took on a promising pupil. Okay. After instruction, the student decided to not enter the profession of law, but to enter politics instead. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Okay. So, a famous professor took on a student on the understanding that the student pay the professor for his teachings after he wins his first court case. So it's like a law professor. After the instruction, the student decides to not be a lawyer, but instead to be a politician. And so the professor decides to sue the student for the amount he is owed. Okay, the professor argues that if he won the case, he would be paid his money. If the student wins the case, the professor would still be paid according to the original contract because the student would have won his first case. The student, however, claimed that if he won, then by court's decision, he would not have to pay the professor. professor. If, on the other hand, the professor wins, then the student would not have won the case and would therefore not be obliged to pay. The question is then, which of the two men is right? Sorry, another bone crack. Oh my gosh, I'm cracking today. Okay, so then they conclude that the jurors, thinking that the plea on both sides was uncertain and insoluble, for fear that their decision for whichever side it was rendered might annul itself, left the matter undecided and postponed the case to a distant day. Thus, a celebrated master of law was refuted by his student with his own argument, and his cleverly devised sophism failed. Interesting. I wonder if that's happened before. Like, I feel like this could happen. I think this is something that could happen in real life. Maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. Okay, next we have Curry's paradox. Okay. So, in natural language, Curry's paradox is a self-referential conditional sentence. In this example, so for example, the paradox, if this sentence is true, then Germany borders China. Okay. Even though Germany does not border China, the example sentence certainly is a natural language sentence, and so the truth of the sentence can be analyzed. The paradox follows from this analysis. Okay, I feel like a lot of these paradoxes are just like over-analyzing stuff, but I guess that's what logic is, just over-analysis of random things. Okay, the analysis consists of two steps. First, common natural language proof techniques can be used to prove that the example sentence is true. I hope this video isn't too boring. I feel like I'm reading a lot of math words and statements. I hope this isn't too boring, or maybe it's good that it's boring because it'll make you relax or go to sleep. I don't know. Okay, the sentence reads, if this sentence is true, then Germany borders China. Okay, if the sentence is true, then it is true. If the sentence is true, then Germany borders China. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. I don't understand it. It goes really far into the insanity of logic and stuff. So I'm gonna not go through that one. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go through a speed run of a couple of weird language-based ones. Okay. The liar paradox. So the paradox is, this sentence is false. This is the canonical self-referential paradox. Also, is the answer to this question no? And I am lying. All three of those sentences are impossible to answer. For example, this sentence is false. Well, if you say that it is false, then the sentence is true. So it can't be true or false, so that's impossible. Then also, is the answer to this question no? If you answer yes, then technically it's not. But if you answer no, then it is no. The answer to the question is no. So, another paradoxical situation. Okay, next is the card paradox. Okay, and basically it goes like this. The next statement is true. The previous statement is false. Okay, so that's another circular statement that traps itself. It says that the next sentence is true, but then the next sentence says that the previous sentence is false. So, go have fun with that. Okay. Pinocchio's paradox. Yeah. This one I've heard a lot. what would happen if Pinocchio said, "My nose grows now"? Basically, if his nose doesn't grow, then it means he's lying, so his nose would grow. But then, that means he's telling the truth. Yeah, it's a weird one. My theory is that Pinocchio would explode if he said that. So, yikes, I guess. He's gonna die if he says that. Okay, Yablo's paradox. An ordered infinite sequence of sentences, each of which says that all following sentences are false. Oh, okay. So like an infinite number of sentences that all say that the previous one is false, or no, that the next one is false. While constructed to avoid self-reference, there is no consensus whether it relies on self-reference or not. That one just relies on the weirdness of infinity, so I don't know. Okay, next is Sorites paradox, also known as the paradox of the heap. So, it goes like this. Imagine a pile of 1 million grains of sand. This pile can be called a pile, right? It's like a big pile. Okay, a pile of sand minus 1 grain of sand is still a pile. Okay, that makes sense. So if you have a pile of 1 million grains of sand, and you take away 1 grain of sand, it's still a pile. It's still a lot of sand. Okay, so then it goes like this. So 1 million grains of sand is a pile. Then if you take 1 away, it's still a pile. And then you take another, and then you take another, and then another, and another. And so the question is, at what point does the pile become not a pile? Because if you keep going, then it says that 1 single grain of sand is a pile of sand. But that can't be true. So, it's like, at what point does it become not a pile? And is there a certain number? And if there is, then that means that the difference between a pile and not a pile is just 1 grain, which is also really weird. Okay. So there's also another, another version of it where you go upwards. So you start with only 1 grain of sand, and then you add another, and another, and another. And then it's like, at what point does that become a pile? There are some other versions too. So like the ocean. So if you remove 1 drop of water from the ocean, at what point does it become not an ocean? And eventually you'll get all the way down to just 1 gallon of water. And like, is that still an ocean or not? I guess it has to do with like gray areas and like being indistinguishable. Yeah. There's also another one called bald. So it's like, at what point does someone become bald? Like 100 hairs left on their head or something. I don't know. It's weird. I'm not gonna go that deep in that one. Okay, anyways. So that's that one. Also the classic ship of Theseus. Okay. If you don't know the ship of Theseus, it's basically, there's a ship, a wooden ship, where basically it's made of wooden planks, and over time they replace the wooden planks. So like every day they go and they replace 1 plank of wood on the ship. Until after, I don't know, 3 years or something, the ship is completely replaced and none of the original wood of the ship is still there. Okay, so the question is that ship still the same ship? Or is it a new ship? Okay, well, I guess which one is the original ship? See, that's where it's weird. It's kind of a stupid paradox, but here's where it's fun. There are different versions of this paradox. So, in Europe, there are several independent tales and stories that have knives, of which the blades and the handles of the knife have been replaced several times, but are still used to represent the same knife. France has Janot's knife, so Spain uses Janot's knife as a proverb. Okay, so basically, yeah, same idea. You change the blade, you change the handle, at which point is it a new knife, or is it the same knife? I don't know. Okay, there's also the Tin Woodman, a character in the Land of Oz, who was originally a man of flesh and blood, but all his body parts were replaced one by one by metal parts as a result of a curse placed on his axe. Nevertheless, his identity is retained. Interestingly, he later meets his old body reassembled again. Sorry, I just cracked my thumb. I'm gonna stop doing that. I don't want these random cracking sounds to be in the video. I'm so sorry. Okay, interestingly, he later meets his old body reassembled again into Nick Chopper. What the heck? Oh my god, I didn't know that was the story of the Tin Man in Land of Oz. What? So you're saying that, okay, he was once a man, but slowly he becomes replaced by metal, and then he meets himself, like his old body parts. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the ship of Theseus. There you go. Okay. Yeah. There's other things, like there's a temple in Japan that is rebuilt every 20 years with new wood. And it's like, is it the same one? I don't know. Anyways, a classic. You've probably heard of it. Okay, next is Supertasks. Okay, now this one might seem kind of boring, but it is interesting, I think. Okay. So, one example of a supertask is the paradox of the gods. A man walks a mile from a single point. Let's just say it, make it his house. Okay. A man walks 1 mile from his house, but there is an infinity of gods, each of whom, unknown to the others, intends to obstruct this man. Okay. One of the gods will raise a barrier to stop his further advance if he reaches the half-mile point. The second god will make a barrier once he reaches the quarter-mile point. A third god will go and do that to 1/8 of a mile, and so on to infinity. So he cannot even get started. Oh, I see. He cannot even get started because however short a distance he travels, he will already been stopped by a barrier. But in that case, no barrier will rise, so that there is nothing to stop him setting off. He has been forced to stay where he is by the mere unfulfilled intentions of the gods. That's a confusing one. Okay, next we have the Grim Reaper paradox. So, it goes like this. There are countably many Grim Reapers. One for every positive integer. Okay. Grim Reaper 1 is to kill you with a scythe at 1 p.m. If and only if you are still alive. Okay. Taking 30 minutes about it. Okay. Grim Reaper 2 is supposed to kill you with a scythe at 12:30 p.m. Only and only if you are still alive. Taking I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. The third Reaper is supposed to kill you with a scythe at 12:15, and so on. You are still alive just before 12 p.m. You can only die through the motion of a Grim Reaper's scythe, and once you are dead, you stay dead. On the face of it, this situation seems conceivable. Each Reaper seems conceivable individually and intrinsically, and it seems reasonable to combine distinct individuals with distinct intrinsic properties. Oh my god. Okay. Something about Grim Reaper's infinite time, half-time, something, I don't know. I'm not gonna go too deep into that one. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Achilles and the tortoise. Sure, why not? Okay. Achilles and the tortoise. In a race, the quickest runner can never overtake the slowest, since the pursuer must first reach the point where the pursued started, so that the slower must always hold a lead. Okay, basically, there is the paradox of Achilles, who is in a foot race with the tortoise. Achilles allows the tortoise a head start of 100 meters. Suppose that each racer starts running at the same some constant speed. Achilles being faster than the tortoise. After some time, Achilles will have run 100 meters, bringing him to the tortoise's starting point. During this time, the tortoise has run a much shorter distance, let's say 2 meters. So the tortoise is at position 102 meters. It will then take Achilles some further time to run the 2 meters, by which time the tortoise will have advanced a little bit further, and then more time still to reach this third point while the tortoise moves ahead. So basically, wherever Achilles arrives to where the tortoise has been, the tortoise has already traveled beyond that point. So he can never, ever reach the tortoise. This is such a weird one, in my opinion. It reminds me of the door paradox. I don't think that's what it's called, but it's like if you are walking towards a door, you have to first get halfway to the door, and then you have to get halfway to the door again, and like you're constantly getting, like, moving yourself halfway to the door, halfway to the door, halfway to the door, but you can never cross the door. Something like that. I probably explained it super weird, but I don't know too much about it. I just remember that it sounds relatively similar to that one. Okay. And of course, I have numbed my feet again. You know, I should really not sit in this weird position all the time when I'm recording. But when I'm recording, I sit, like, kind of in a weird position. Like, I kind of sit on my own feet. Okay, not really, but, like, I sit in a way that makes it so that my feet are numb, and now my feet are numb, and now I don't like it. I'm now sitting in a better spot, but still. Yeah, I'm kind of stupid. Don't worry about it. Okay, temporal paradox. Okay, this is like time traveler's paradox. I think. Is this the one? I think it is. Yeah, okay, time travel paradox. Okay. Sure. Yeah. So, you know, the old grandfather paradox. You go back in time, you kill your grandfather. You can't be a real person because your grandfather's dead and never ever, like, you know, conceived you or conceived your parents, so how could you exist? Okay. Yeah, there's also another one where it's like, actually, I don't want to say that one, never mind. I don't want to get blasted by YouTube. I don't know if it's friendly for YouTube, so I'm not going to say that one. Yeah, just time loops in general. here's one. Okay, so you go back in time to stop a fire from happening. But when you're in the building where the fire is supposed to be, like happening, you accidentally knock over a can of gasoline and start a fire. So it's like you're the cause of the fire. So you go back in time to stop the fire that you caused. Something like that. Something like that. Okay, so that's the temporal paradox, and the final paradox that I have is Peto's paradox, the observation that at the species level, this is a biology paradox, at the species level, the incidence of cancer does not appear to correlate with the number of cells in an organism. So basically, it's like the incidence of cancer in humans is much higher than the incidence of cancer in whales, despite whales having more cells than humans. And if you don't know how cancer works, basically it's like when your cells multiply, sometimes your cells will not multiply correctly, and you'll have a cell that has a mistake in the cell. And cancer is basically when that cell just continues to multiply without stopping and doesn't listen to your body and keeps multiplying and keeps multiplying. And that's what's called a tumor. A tumor is basically your own cells fighting against you. So it's like, yeah. So the theory is that, okay, the more cells you have, the more likely that there will be a mistake, right? I think that makes sense. So why do whales not have that much cancer, but we humans do? Like, what the heck? What's up with that? So, yeah, humans are much less susceptible to cancer than mice. Really? So mice have really high levels of cancer. What the heck? That's weird. That's really, really weird. Okay. Peto went on to suggest that evolutionary considerations were likely responsible for varying per cell carcinogenesis. Okay. Biology. Okay. Within members of the same species, cancer risk and body size appear to be positively correlated, even once other risk factors are controlled for. A 25-year longitudinal study of 17,000 male British people are not real. Sorry. Okay, a study of British men in 1998 showed a positive correlation between height and cancer incidence with a high degree of statistical confidence. I see. Okay, so they found that the bigger that you are, the taller that you are, the more likely it is that you will have cancer because you have more cells in your body. Oh, that kind of sucks, actually. That kind of sucks. Yeah. Sorry for the tall people out there. Sorry. So yeah, they found out that, taller people have more cancer. Likelihood, anyway. Okay. An analysis in 2011 of 74,000 North American domesticated dogs found that cancer incidence was lowest in the smaller breeds. They have less cells, and so there's less likely chance for cancer. Okay, makes sense. But the paradox comes up when you look across different species. In a 2015 study, the San Diego Zoo surveyed results from 36 different mammalian species, ranging in size from the 51-gram striped grass mouse to the nearly 100,000 times larger elephant. The study found size and cancer incidence, offering empirical support for the paradox. Okay. Interesting. Should I keep reading? There's like a lot to this. Or not that much, but there's some more to it. I'll keep reading. Why not? I have time. I have time. Okay, evolutionary considerations. The evolution of multicellularity has required the suppression of cancer to some extent, and connections have been found between the origins of multicellularity and cancer. In order to build larger and longer-lived bodies, organisms required greater cancer suppression. Evidence suggests that large organisms, such as elephants have more adaptations that allow them to evade cancer. The reason that intermediate-sized organisms have relatively few of these genes may be because the advantage of preventing cancer was not that huge. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Various species have evolved different mechanisms for suppressing cancer. For example, there are some genes in the bowhead whale that may be associated with longevity. Around the same time, a second team of researchers identified a polysaccharide in the naked mole rat that appeared to block the development of tumors. In October 2015, 2 independent studies showed that African elephants have 20 copies of tumor suppressor gene in their genome. Wow, that's a lot. Asian elephants have 15 to 20 copies of the tumor suppressor gene, whereas humans and other mammals only have 1. Man, we got nerfed. What the heck? No, we need more of those. Especially now, cancer is getting crazy now. We got microplastics. Oh no. Okay. Additional research showed that 14 copies existed in the mammoths, but only 1 copy existed in manatees. Okay. Alright. Something. Oh, okay. Metabolic and cell size considerations. Okay. Larger organisms have bigger and slowly dividing cells with lower energy turnover, all significantly reducing the risk of cancer. However, cell size is not uniform across mammalian species, making body size an imperfect proxy for number of cells in an organism. Okay, that makes sense. For example, the volume of a red blood cell of an elephant is roughly 4 times the size of a blood cell from a common shrew, a common rat. Furthermore, larger cells divide more slowly than smaller ones. Okay. A difference which compounds exponentially over the lifespan of an organism. Fewer cell divisions mean fewer opportunities for cancer mutations, and the metabolic rates of larger animals are generally lower, which is typically associated with reduced stress, and so their cells incur less damage over time. Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. I'm glad I read the rest of it. Okay. Hopefully you guys thought it was interesting too. So basically, some animals have larger cells, like elephants, for example, that also multiply slower. And so if the cells are larger, you have less cells in general. And if they divide slower, then there are less chances for mistakes. suggestions. I would love to hear what you guys would like to see. But, yeah. Yeah, okay, paradoxes, they're fun, they're fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it, too. I thought they were interesting, but I don't know if you guys will think they're interesting. Maybe I'm just weird for that. Whatever. Okay, but anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, your night, your afternoon, your mornings, whatever it is for you when you're watching. Also, thank you so much for watching this video. Really, it means the most.